Hi, this is Brian Eisenhower, and I am here today with Shelly Koenigsfeld. She is the lead buyers specialist of a real estate team. She closed 70 transactions as the lead buyers specialist of that team last year, and I've had the privilege of working with her for a few years and watching that production grow, and from an agent to a buyer's agent to the lead buyers specialist. And she has extremely successful and one of the most skilled agents that I've had the pleasure of working with, and she has agreed to share some of those skills with us today. Welcome, Shelly.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here.
Well, we are going to talk about, and I'm yet to meet anyone as good as you at your scripts and dialogues. So today, even though there's a lot I want to glean from you, I really want to talk about how you convert inbound leads, whether that be sign calls or internet leads. Could be buyers, could even be sellers, how you are able to convert those inbound leads into actual appointments where you meet them in person to either do a buyer's consultation, showing property, or a listing presentation, whatever it may be. I want to talk about how you do that. You willing today?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds like a good time. Yeah.
Great. Great. Okay. Well, let's talk about your strategy first before we get into an actual role play. Now, what I want to do is role play it with you where you're actually I'm going to be this inbound lead, clueless that I'm flying into your spider web of scripting and dialoguing, and I'm going to end up meeting you in person someday. I want to talk about your strategy. And the part I want to talk about is how you do it from a place of curiosity, how you do it by leading questions all the way through.
Absolutely. I do, you just got to find your own voice, but I do notice a lot of agents tend to go right into dialogues regarding the house and try to sell the house itself. I mainly want to focus on what's happening with the person on the phone and discover what it is that they're wanting. The house itself doesn't even matter. I'm just concerned about what's happening with them, and so that way I can convert it into whatever it is they are, listing, buying, whatever.
Yeah, and I think the way you do it, you always end every sentence with a question mark, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I repeat something that they said so that they know I'm listening, and then I ask another question, just digging deeper into what's happening.
Right. So you're actually getting into their needs to try to look out for their best interest the whole time.
Absolutely. I want them to know that I care about what's happening with them, and that if they were to work with me, that's exactly what I would be doing, listening to them and asking questions.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, a lot of questions. And what I love is how you keep asking them. And you don't start telling, you keep finding out more and more. And then tying their answers to the questions into your need to actually meet with them in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not necessarily just to show them a house, is it?
Actually, I typically don't end up showing any of those people a house. I will bring them in for the buyer's consultation. The only time I would show them a house is if it was our listing specifically. Otherwise, no, I don't meet them at a house. I meet them at the office for a consult.
Yeah, a lot of reasons to do that. Safety being number one is to make sure you meet them in person in a crowded area, not at some dark house at night. So that you make sure that they sign an exclusive buyer's agency with you, so you don't waste time running all over town and getting no money. And so you can do a more organized search for them.
Yeah, and deciding if I want to work with them too.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. And when you close 70 transactions a year, you can afford to use discretion, which I like. Okay, so should we start this?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you a call. Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Shelly with Keller Williams. How can I help you?
Hi, Shelly. We were looking at a house that we saw online at 1234 Main Street. We wanted to know some information about the house and maybe take a look at it. We're really excited.
Great, Main Street. That's a really, really great house. So you're looking to buy sometime soon?
Yeah, we're definitely in the market. That's for sure. I'd love to take a look at that house and see. But yeah, we're definitely thinking about it.
Well, it's a beautiful house for sure. So let me know, are you renting? Do you own now?
Right now we own, but we don't live quite in the area. We just happen to be in town, this weekend. And so we were just going to take a look at it.
Great. So you're wanting to move to Kansas City. What brings you to Kansas City?
Well, we actually live just a couple hours outside of the city town. Over in Wichita. So we were just in town looking. We've got some family in the area. We want to be closer to them, and our kids are starting to get to an age. We'd like to raise them a little bit closer to a larger city, and be closer to family at the same time.
Yeah, being close to family is so important. I can appreciate that for sure. So is your home in Wichita listed?
Not yet. Like I said, we're just looking right now, but we do want to move. But no, we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure. So have you selected an agent that you're going to work with in Wichita or in Kansas City?
No, not yet. We're just starting to look.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let me ask you a question. So here in Kansas City, I don't know what your market looks like in Wichita, but here in Kansas City, we are in a fast moving market. How's your market in Wichita?
Oh, I hear it's pretty good.
Good. Okay, great. Yeah. So you have several options. One, do you plan on listing your home first and then purchasing a home? Do you plan on doing some sort of bridge loan, or are you going to buy first and then sell? What do you think?
Well, what we were really doing was just trying to look and find a house that we liked. And once we found a house that we liked, something we were hoping that would then motivate us to go ahead and say, okay, we've got something to move into, and then we'll put our house up for sale and put an offer on that house and move, is what we were thinking. We were hoping this house on Main Street was the one.
Perfect. Well, let's see if that's the right house for you. What location are you focusing in on?
We've really just been looking online, so we're pretty open to a lot of areas right now. We do want to be reasonably close to the city. You know, we would like to be within 15, 20 minutes of the city center. That's probably where I would be working in the area. And we're looking to live probably north of the city. Probably, that's not for sure, but that's where we have some family. So.
Yeah, Brian, a lot of people do like being near the city. I can definitely understand that. So have you determined a budget yet?
Well, we're pretty flexible, but we're thinking of somewhere around $300,000 like this home is listed at. Online, it looks perfect. I mean, it seems to have everything. But we haven't seen, we haven't seen the inside completely yet.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm going to send you a link to that as soon as we're done. So that will be great. So you can see more pictures and more information. So let me ask you a question. I'm sure you have some questions regarding the Kansas City market and possibly what other homes you haven't seen, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking online quite a bit, though. I mean, we're really enjoying it. It's super fun. We also love HGTV a lot, so we're looking at these with a really open mind because we might be able to fix some of them up.
Yeah,
I just want to say that I know I just about made you sick right there. So yeah. I did that on purpose.
And just so you know, I'm continuing to ask questions so that they know I care about them. And I'm quick to get off the phone. I hear people, their conversations are like 5 seconds. I want them to know I really care about them and what's happening. And I actually sometimes hear from people, wow, no one's ever asked me these questions before.
Great.
Think about that. No one bothered to ask them. They're on their 5th agent. No one cared where they were coming from. No one cared if they had a listing. No one cared where they wanted to be. No one cared. Think about that. What am I telling them? I'm telling them that I care, and you'd actually be surprised with the response.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the way you took control of that conversation was, and you knew the questions you wanted to ask too, because these are prepared questions. So there was no, I had no choice but to continue to answer them. That gave you total control to get all the information you needed to better represent me. And it showed me instantaneously that I was okay to have confidence in you because you know what you're doing. You weren't screwing around. You were coming with all the questions you needed to know to represent my best interest, which to some might feel like it's too forward, but it has the exact opposite effect. It actually gives me massive confidence that this person knows what questions to ask to help me. So I feel like I can just relax and let you drive. Yes. Which is excellent. And that's how you just keep leading through a series of questions. Now, I know you probably have these memorized right now. Yeah. But at one point, you had them all written out.
I do. And I do once in a while go back through and reread it just to remind myself in case I'm moving too far off of the script.
Right. There you go. Yeah, because you need to drive it back. The key is to be very quick with that next question. And every time you did exactly what you said you were going to do, you acknowledged, you validated my question. You're right. That is a beautiful house. I definitely want to show that to you. how long are you whatever question you asked me at that point. So you'd validate it, you put a period on the end of it, and then you said, when were you thinking about moving? Do you have your home listed already? So you validated my answer with a statement, and then you'd come very quickly back with your next question. No chance for me to move in.
Looking in the direction I need them to.
Right. Yeah. You're just guiding them right down this path, which is helpful. Okay. So where did we leave off there? What did I tell you voluntarily last?
That's a good question, because I don't really keep track of that.
Yeah. We don't usually have to stop in the middle and do commentary. I think you did ask me about where I wanted to move, and I think it was in the north of town. You said a lot of people wanted to live north of town.
Yeah, I was asking if they had, other homes. So really at this point, this is where I'm going to start to guide them and self-discover into, not all homes are online. And some of the best homes never made it online. And that's where we started to have that discussion. And then I think, just imagine if you haven't seen the best of the best. What I really like to do is bring you into my office and have a discussion about what our market looks like, what the process looks like, how much money is it going to cost, right? I'm sure you have lots of questions about that. And let's see if we can put together a good buying plan. What time works the best for you?
Got it. And so right into a question on the end of that statement. So even though you told me all of that, I said, well, is there any way that we could just see this house right now while we're in town? I've got my brother and his whole family here, and we'd already shown them photos of this house, so we'd really like to see it. Is there any chance I can get in there and then sometime shortly after we could meet?
Yeah, I don't get that often.
You don't? Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I don't that often. That's really few and far between. Usually they want a buying plan and they want to get it figured out. The people that really don't intend on using an agent, you do find that out the longer you're doing it, but I don't really get it that often. I don't get it that much. Now, if it's our listing, of course, I would have done a completely different scripting to go around that, because I want to sell them our home first.
Right. Okay.
But not our listing. Calling on me, yeah, then I bring them in here, and I would start asking questions regarding, are they pre-approved, and all of that good stuff, and pulling that together.
Excellent. Do you mind if we go through that dialogue where you actually drive me into the where I tell you, well, we're looking in this area north of the city, and then you actually close me on the appointment for the buyer's consultation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to answer your question right now. We're looking somewhere north of the city because that's where a lot of my family lives. We just saw this one house online, and we'd like to see that.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Northland as well. In fact, I live and work in the Northland, and I've been here for about 10 years, so I'm definitely an expert in the area. I tell you what, my office is actually in the Northland as well. And just take a few minutes. We can meet at my office. It's at 169 in Inglewood, and we could get together and discuss what that would look like. Because I know you probably have questions regarding what it looks like. How much is this going to cost me? Let's get together and make a buying plan. What time do you think would work the best for you? Okay,
so very quickly to moving. Does anybody object to that one too much?
You do get a few objections, and usually I've got to figure out why they're objecting. And sometimes it's because they simply say they plan on using the listing agent no matter what.
Huh. Yeah. Well, thank God you didn't show the house. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not list that home.
Yeah.
I try to figure out why. Sometimes it's because they're worried that they're not going to be able to get a pre-approval. That's when I can definitely say, hey, no concerns. We're going to figure that out. Why don't you just come into my office, and I can have the lender come right in and have a discussion with you, and let's see what we can figure out. Telling them that I ask them why and just try to figure it out. Usually it's because they're concerned about something.
Got it. Okay. So every concern or question they have is come on in. We'll figure it out in here. Because it shows you're not
absolutely. We don't. Objections are not done by phone at all whatsoever.
Right.
Ever.
No, you're right. What we're trying to do right now is close the appointment.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh, sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Is the light still okay, Annie?
Yeah, you're okay. Just got a little mood lighting going on now. Okay. So right, yeah, and I agree. So if we're trying to close that over the phone, we are in a wrong. I'm sorry, if we're trying to overcome objections on the phone, that's bad. We overcome those in person. So very quickly, everything is right back to that appointment. Everything we're doing at that point is to the appointment. We'll handle that in here. We can handle that in person. And it actually shows that you're willing to spend time on these problems too. So they're very much inclined to do that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And then I'm not just going to run out to the home and hope it works out.
Great. Okay. So do you mind doing someone who has their house to sell as well too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Here in Kansas City. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So you have a home that you need to sell as well. Is that right, Brian?
That's correct. Yeah. We live south of the city.
You live south of the city. Great. What neighborhood are you in?
I am in Brookside.
I love Brookside. When did you buy that home?
We bought it about 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay. And do you happen to know how much you owe on the property?
We owe, I think it's right around $200,000.
Great. And do you have any idea how much you want to sell it for?
Well, we've seen a few of the neighbors' homes go up for sale around $400,000. They seem to be about like ours. We've done a lot to it. We've done a lot to it because we watch HGTV a lot. We have done, redone all the cabinets. We've done some tile countertops and updated the backyard and 1,000 other things. So we think it's probably worth that too, but we don't really know. That's why we're calling you, I suppose.
Absolutely. So you've done lots of renovations, and it sounds like what I'm hearing is that you would love to get that money back. What we can do is I can have my listing agent give you a quick call, and we can come on down and take a look at your property, let you know what it's worth, and understand the process and what you're going to net, because I'm sure that's super important to you, right?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest deal because that's going to help us understand what we can afford when we buy. So knowing what we net's the key.
Absolutely. Well, do you have some time Saturday around 10 or 2 where we could stop by?
Yeah, so I love how you go right to the appointment. You asked me 2 questions. One was, is it important to you to know how much money you're going to get out of the house? That's clear. I mean, there's no way to say no to that. That's a pretty big deal. And the next one is, when do you want to meet? It's very, very hard to object when you're that precise on closing. Very, very hard. So, and I love, and the confidence with which you move into that is so quick. It's amazing how few agents have that type of confidence, the ability to close appointments like that. So it's phenomenal. Well, great, Shelly. I really appreciate. Any other things you want to add on that one?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing is just making sure that you, again, repeat what they say and always end with a question and come from curiosity. You'd be surprised what you uncover. Agreed.
Shelly, thank you so much for sharing those amazing scripts and dialogues and objection handlers with everybody. That's going to help a whole lot of agents out there generate more business. So thanks again.
Good to see you, Brian. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Shelly.